Thank you for joining us here on this very special occasion to celebrate Poshan Se Padhai Tak. And I'm very glad and honored to have Shri Anilji, Dr. Rita, and of course Shubhra Chatterjee for joining us this afternoon to give us a sense of what is it that the Ministry of Women and Child Development is doing under Shaksham Anganwadis and Poshan 2.0. So let me start with you, Anilji. When we say Poshan Se Padhai Tak, we talk about the direction of the Anganwadi system. We talk about the government providing nutrition, which beyond just the PDS, now there is fortified rice, there is millets, there is a holistic nutrition program that has been unveiled under Poshan 2.0. So talk to us and talk to our audience here about what is it that the ministry is doing to expand the ambit. It's not just about Poshan, but also about Padhai. It's about early education.
You see, this program has been around in a truncated form since last 1975, so 49 years. Its 50th year will be next year. So its scope has been expanded big time, transformationally by the present government. It's not merely, basic health services. It's gone up to Padhai. So the idea is that our Anganwadis, at the end of the day, they should also become joyful places of learning, where the children, the future generation of this country is prepared to enter the school system at a very prepared and mature stage. They are not found wanting, not only in terms of health and nutrition, but also in terms of basic learning. And that learning is stress-free and not based on any rote learning or anything of that kind. So our Honorable Minister last year launched this project Poshan Bhi or Padhai Bhi, both the things. Now, because it's a new step, so we will need to build the capacity of our organizations who are delivering it, basically our Anganwadi workers, helpers, and our supervisors and other persons involved in this massive program. So more than 2.5 million persons are involved. Now we have budgeted big time this year, next 2 years, more than 475 crores worth of budget for training. So this is going to be rolled out, is already started with NIPSED, our national level institute for children's training programs. Another thing that we are doing is we are closing down mini Anganwadis. We had about more than 1 lakh of them earlier. They were having only one worker. So if the worker is not present or something happens, then the mini Anganwadi closes. Now we are going to convert all of them along with other Anganwadis into main Anganwadis. So every Anganwadi henceforth from April 1 will have 2 workers, Anganwadi worker and helper. So even if one falls sick or is not available, then this education program and nutrition programs don't suffer. Then the budget also has been increased from 1,000 per year to 3,000 per year for preschool education kit. So the total budget has gone from 140 crores to 420 crores. So kits are available and children are actively, enjoy themselves and also learn, their motor skills, their cognitive skills, emotional and even aesthetic skills, they get enhanced. Then another pillar of implementing this program, Padhai Tak, we have, gone in for do-it-yourself indigenous toys. Use the resource materials which are available locally. And I mean, it can be bangles, newspapers, bottle caps, or leaves, rocks, whatever you have, which is locally available. Don't have to go to market to purchase. You can convert them into toys, then maybe even destroy them, reconvert them. So that helps children, build their creative and their aesthetic sense. So these are multiple domain areas, where we are intervening and to implement this more ambitious project.
Dr. Rita, in terms of what Anilji said, obviously the budgets have gone up, but one critical area is training and tracking. So please tell our audience, from the NIPCCD, which you represent, how critical is training and what is it that you're doing to enhance the level of training so that our Anganwadi workers can become better educators?
NIPSED, National Institute of Public Cooperation and Child Development. We have been engaged in training of ICDS functionaries since 1975. So maybe that is our key domain area of training, what we are all expertised in. And with the new program, that is the new initiative, Poshan Se Padhai Tak, which is in the air, right? We are all working very hard for it. And under Poshan Se Padhai Tak, I would like to tell a bit of genesis behind it. With the 2013 National ECC policy and then the framework. And then with coming up of National Education Policy in place, and we had constituted a ECC task force by the ministry in 2022. And they had given major recommendations regarding carrying out Poshan Se Padhai Tak. And according to that, one of the main points, what they had suggested that we should have a Anganwadi training program of 3 days where we could capacitate them on various aspects of ECC so that we could convert these Anganwadi centers to vibrant learning centers, right? So PBPB has been initiated last year by the Honorable Minister, May 2023. And since then, we have already started with the training program. And the training program, we are basically based at headquarters at Delhi, and we have our 5 regional centers. That is, we have a pan-India approach, and through our regional centers, we are capacitating all the ICDS functionaries on Poshan Se Padhai Tak. And I would be very happy to say that I think so it is a historic moment for all of us that first time in the country, all the ICDS officials, starting from DPOs, CDPOs, supervisors, and Anganwadi workers across the country. That is, all of them are being trained for Poshan Se Padhai Tak. And for this, we are having a 2-tier approach. For the first approach, what we are doing is we are having a state-level master trainers program, where we are capacitating CDPOs and supervisors. In addition, we are also having state nodal officers on nutrition, state nodal officers on ECC, all of them being trained on a 2-day module at NIPSID headquarters and its regional centers, where we are giving them training so that further they go to the field and they train 14 lakh Anganwadi workers.
Shubhra-ji, how does one ensure, because it's a long arc from Poshan to Padhai, how do you monitor that long arc, keeping in mind all of these 4 or 5 broad things which is absolutely critical, particularly in the early years?
When we are talking about, this cognitive development and school readiness and all that, we should remember how young children learn. They learn through play. And that is why, I'm very happy that NIPSID has come up with a strong curriculum with more than maybe 150 play-based activities. Because most teachers, they do not know how to play with children. Parents don't know how to engage with children. So I think this is of paramount importance when we make this great leap from, from nutrition to Padhai. I think we should keep in mind that it should be a play-based pedagogy. And the other thing I wanted to say was, we talk of cognitive development, but what kind of cognitive development? It does not mean learning your numbers or the letters of the alphabet, but certain basic processing skills like observation, exploration, matching, sorting, discriminating, groupings, arranging, ordering. So these are far more fundamental building blocks to learning, and that is what the entire preschool curriculum should be about. And I am concerned, while I am very happy that Padhai is being extended, but it should be that, we as a society, which should be, so I am taking your monitoring in a very large sense. We should be vigilant to see that, it is play-based learning that takes place in our preschools and Anganwadi centers.
Sure. Anilji, let me come back to you. One critical aspect which I guess is important for making this successful is involvement of parents, communities. So how do you make Poshan Se Padhai more community-based, almost like a Jan Andolan, if you will?
There are multiple activities that are done in an Anganwadi. Sports day, creativity day, Anganwadi workers hold meetings, toddler graduation, things like that, where parents are proposed to be involved. Right now also they come there for nutrition and for immunization, multiple other things. But for these activities also, they are expected to be there, and Anganwadi workers are involving them, at least once a month. Then we have some big celebrations like we talked about it earlier in the earlier module, Poshan Ma and Poshan Pakhwada, where nutrition-based activities are celebrated and nutritional habits and all those things. So that also becomes part of learning. And then, of course, you are right, the budgets and equipments and training, they are being taken care of. But we are also involving community and parents big time. That is an integral component of this program. Last, I would also like to say that because some of the children, might be having delayed developmental, parameters, it's possible some of them, need to be further referred to. So those kind of protocols and those kind of things also will be, taken care of through these initiatives.
Dr. Rita, when we talk about, and Prime Minister talks about this quite a bit, about the demographic dividend in the Amrit Kal, tapping into the young population. If you were to realize India's full potential, one group of citizens that we need to sort of help and also them help themselves is the Divyang category. So please help our audience understand what is being done by the ministry, by the organization that you represent, in helping differently able Divyang people as to how they can also be part of mainstream and contribute to mainstream society.
When it comes to Divyang children, I would like to say that at NIPSID, at headquarters, we have got child guidance centers, adolescent guidance service centers, which take care of Divyang children. And our ministry has already released the Divyang protocol, right, for Anganwadis. And we don't expect the Anganwadi workers, to exactly name the Divyangta or any other thing. But only what we expect them is to diagnose or to screen the children and at least identify symptoms which they could further refer it to health centers or other centers. And for that, we have got a disability screening schedule, which we'll talk about, which has many questions in it, nearly 21 questions. And by that, one can identify what are the symptoms. And further, the most important part is the referral part. So immediately, I think so now with Poshan Se Padhai Tak, every Anganwadi center will have a list of referrals. Exactly, if the Anganwadi worker knows even a bit about Divyangta, she can at least refer to further to the health center or the diet or other centers so that immediate actions could be taken. And mainly, it is very important in the 0 to 3 age group when she'll be going for home visits. Even if she can identify something in a very early stage, I think so that is very, very important for further delay, and that can be taken care of. And through Poshan Se Padhai Tak, we are now collaborating with NIMHANS. NIMHANS, they have given a video for us, on Palan, namely Palan. And through that video, we are capacitating all the ICDS functionaries regarding what is Divyangta, what are the type of disabilities, and how they can be at least screened at the Anganwadi centers so that further they can be referred.
Shubhraji, these days, and there is no real urban-rural divide when it comes to this, that even rural children from low-income backgrounds are today used to and quite adept at using smartphones and mobile phones. And so their early development is probably through the mobile phone. So how can Anganwadi workers equip themselves to be able to teach kids who are probably, these days, certainly in urban centers, kids seem to be 24/7 on mobile phones. But this is almost a universal problem, one would imagine. So how can this problem and this challenge be addressed?
Technology is very powerful, and like any other powerful thing, it has a lot of capacity to do good and a lot of capacity to do harm. So on the right side, I would say that what we keep saying to parents also, to everyone, that it cannot substitute, technology can never substitute human interaction. Do not use it as a tool to make your child sit and eat her dinner, or to do this task or do that task, and made her dependable on technology. Use it by all means very carefully, but it is far more important to talk to your child, to engage with your child, to interact with your child, tell her stories yourself. Also then use technology, and the same goes with the Anganwadi worker. And as I have seen that Anganwadi workers are very savvy these days, they use technology well, and I think a lot of very good quality resources can be made accessible to them that they can use, but it should be used judiciously, what I feel.
Anilji, what are the best practices that can be sort of replicated, and what is the ministry's focus on trying to develop a template of these successful and repeatable practices?
The central government and all the state governments Budgeting is also joint, and basically state governments are actually the real implementing agencies. So every state is free, right now also they are having their own, local dishes, local, festivals, local ways of imparting basic services. So we have NIPSED, they are in the process of doing these studies. They keep on doing it already. And they are documented, and we have now a very good IT platform. We would leverage that, and we will share the best practices across all domains. We are leveraging the cartoon networks and the cartoon literature and technology in spreading the messages of nutrition, health, and even early education. So these kinds of interventions we are proposing to take up.
So Dr. Rita, if you could elaborate a little bit more about content. I mean, Cartoon Coalition is one of it, but how is the content developed? How is it curated? And also, how do you guard against it not becoming over-dependence on technology? One of the things that Shubhra ma'am referred to, this over-dependence on technology. So how do you guard against that?
At present, for Poshan Se Padhai Tak, we have used both digital content, right? For training of Anganwadi workers, we have got nearly 40 videos so that it would be easy for their learning. But it does not mean that, they will be necessarily using it for the children. For the children activities, I think so there should be a mix of outdoor, indoor play, and it should be more with alphabets, language, number, and interacting with the child, one-to-one interaction. So basically it's like I can do, we can do, you do it all, and you can do it yourself. And when we have come up with the framework for Poshan Se Padhai Tak, we have tried to incorporate each and every best practices of the state so that we don't miss out on anything. And for the last day, we have kept a session even left to the states, so that states have an intervention regarding the best practices, what they can share with all others, and the way forward further. So I think so training and capacity building is the key to any success of any program. Once we start capacitating our functionaries, I think so Poshan and Padhai, nutrition and education can together make a difference for converting these Anganwadi centers from Khichdi centers or Dalia centers to vibrant Anganwadi centers.
Shubhra ji, again, I come back to the point about how does one revive community-based learning, and what are the best practices that can be adapted to Anganwadi centers for encouraging more community-based learning?
I think there is already provision. The ministry has recently sent out very detailed, guidelines on how to conduct ECCE days. They are primarily meant to, have more connection with the community. And I am talking from practical experience. In Uttar Pradesh, I have seen chaupals, ECCE chaupals, a few, and I was really amazed. The entire village was there, and it was almost like a festive atmosphere. And the adolescent girls had decorated the place with balloons, and the Anganwadi worker had taken out all the Anganwadi playthings and showing that, how this is not play. Because there is this always dialogue, ki wahan to khel hota hai, wahan to padhai nahi hota hai. So she was trying to educate the entire community, not only the parents, what early learning is all about. And they were so interested, and some of the parents with ghungtas like this, I'm trying to, it was just to imagine that situation. It was so beautiful, so vibrant, and I think there is a very beautiful African proverb which says it takes a village to raise a child. And just not educating the parents, but the entire community is so important, because they too have an influence on, how on children's learning and everything. And typically, I think I have seen good practices in many states. In Jharkhand, in West Bengal, in Maharashtra, where parents come and help the Anganwadi workers set up the activity corners with their old saris, the doll corner. And this another initiative that has been started by the ministry, I really like it, is revival of indigenous toys, indigenous games, and do-it-yourself toys. That can bring the community together.
On that note, I'll give the final word to Shri Anil. What is the vision? What is the outline for the next 5 years as to how you transform that vision into more reality?
Yeah, the vision is that, in a few years' time, our Anganwadis should be real play schools, place of joyful learning, where our youngsters are prepared for the school, but there is no stress, and at low cost, local knowledge, local resources are used, and they are reused and recycled. So that is the vision, so that we are able to participate, all the children of this country are able to participate in the Viksit Bharat Yatra, and we have a population which is ready to become productive and useful citizens of this country. So that is the vision, and that's we are carrying forward.
All right, thank you very much. Can we have a round of applause for Shri Anil Malik, Dr. Rita Patnaik and Shubhra Chatterjee? Thank you very much.